Hello Libra friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Libra October 2020 Astrology Must Knows. We have a very intense month, maybe one of the most intense months of the whole year. If you remember what it was like in June and July, those are the types of energies that are going to manifest again at this time. There is amazing chance for transformation and we are standing on the precipice of some really wild changes. But this month of October is that time right before it cracks into the new everything. And so we've got a little bit more work to do to get to the gold. So I'm going to talk to you about the many different layers that make up the story of this month. I'll tell you about general transits and how they will be applicable specifically to Libra placements. We'll talk about the things to celebrate and we'll talk about the things to watch out for. So the first thing to know is that yes, this is going to be a very intense month. Part of the reason for that, where I'm likening it to June and July, is that we had Mercury retrograde in a water sign at that time, plus other water placements, which is beginning again this month, okay? Water equals emotion. Libra energy is an intellectual energy. It's one that likes to think about things and look into things. And then this energy of water mixing with air isn't super comfortable and it doesn't match your natural flow. So be prepared to have things kind of moving around you in a way that isn't exactly in your perfect flow. Now, of course, the good news is that we are still in Libra time. So we still do have the sun moving through your sign, and that's going to hopefully help offset some of these heavy emotions. You are going to have the sun brighten up whatever your Libra placement is. If you are a middle or late degree Libra placement, or basically October born friends, or if you've got 10 to 29 degrees, if you're watching for your moon or rising. So the sun is going to amplify your placement. If it's coming in the form of your birthday, happy birthday. And remember, you get birthday wishes. If you want to see more about how you can make your wishes come true using astrological power periods like your birthday, then you can search for Annie Botticelli or just Annie making wishes come true and you'll find my video on that topic. But this is a power period that you don't want to miss because the sun in the sky represents your desire. And when the sun in the sky comes back to the same point that it was at when you were born, it opens a portal for wishing. That's what birthday wishes are about. So you want to take full advantage of those. And those of you with moon or rising in Libra, you will also have an extra oomph or rebirth energy as the sun crosses over your placement. Okay, so for those of you towards the end of the sign, you might still have a little bit more time where the sun is moving through your 12th house. In the weeks before your birthday, before the sun gets back to the point that it was at when you were born, it moves through this attic of your being, your subconscious mind, the place where you've got all of these old relics. For better and worse, some of them have major value that you would find in this time with the spotlight turning on in the attic. Some of them will be really gross and scary and are things you have to deal with. But whatever it is, the universe sets it up that in the weeks before your birthday, this whole, this attic space of possibilities of, transgenerational healing or patterns of psychological information, archives of Akashic records, and connections to the unseen realms, and your hidden gifts that are ready to be brought out are all in this space. So it's good because it does sometimes show you things you don't want, and that helps you to use your wishing and intention power even better when it comes time for the birthday time or when the sun crosses over your placement. Okay, so that is a major must know for Libra. Now, something else that's adding to the heavy emotion this month is that we have 2 full moons. It's rare that we have 2 full moons in a month, and when that happens, the second one's called a blue moon. So you've heard the expression once in a blue moon. We are going to have that happen at this magical, mystical time of Halloween, All Hallows Eve, close to All Saints Day, Samhain, whatever it is that you celebrate along those lines. It's a very magical day that is very rich with lore and mysticism. And the fact that a full moon is happening then is a big deal. And the fact that it's a blue moon is even more of a big deal. So the veils will be very thin at that time. Both of the moons this month, the one on October 1st, the full moon, and then the October 31st full moon, are going to bring focus to your relationship sector, because these are the houses that are accentuated for Libra. So something coming to fullness, fruition, bliss or drama, completion, a chapter ending, or something that you've been working for being recognized or achieved in the relationship space, in the energy of shared money or shared resources. So, credit, taxes, anything having to do with inheritances, spousal money, family money, borrowing money, loaning money. All of those things are going to be very strongly featured at this time. And those of you who are October born, you might see that first moon, the October 1st one, lean more towards your health house or your work house or your self-employment house or your pets. So you might see this bliss or drama, jolts in a good way or bad way, surprising things being brought to light in those areas. Whereas the early degree placements, you have this more set in just those relationship sectors. So the odds that they'll turn out in those divisions are more likely for you all. So whenever we have the energy of a full moon, it's kind of like, I always liken it to like a dog shaking off after a bath. You can have a full moon freak out, or you can have trouble sleeping before the moon. But just know that these are going to be two emotional hot spots in an otherwise already emotional month. Okay, so we've got the layers of the full moons. We have the layers of the planets, Mercury going retrograde in Scorpio, a water sign. Also later in the month, the sun will get to a water sign. Okay, another layer why this is going to be a crazy emotional month has to do with the eclipses coming. Okay, if you followed my work for a while, you know that I always talk about eclipses before they happen, because eclipses as an astronomical event happens at one time on that day that it occurs. Eclipses as an astrological event have a longer window of period of time of manifestation and things that they bring. So we started a new eclipse cycle with the Sagittarius Gemini eclipse cycle, which in general for Libras, this is much more favorable than the Cancer Capricorn eclipse cycle that we ended in the middle of 2020, that had gone on from 2018, the middle of 2018 to the middle of 2020. Those were kind of doggers for you all. But this fire air eclipse cycle that has opened up will have a tendency to be much more favorable, because the angles being made for Libra placements are positive. Okay, so the energies of the November and the December eclipses may start to make themselves manifest. Things that came up in the summer or for the winter for you all down under in the middle of the year when these started, you might notice that those themes that were brought up are coming back around again and very much in your face. There can be a lot of crossroads, a lot of intensity. There can be a lot of big news. And this month, if big news starts to come in, just know that you might not know what to do with the news yet, or what is going to become of the news, because there's a lot of uncertainty this month. Things that were set can be called into question, and because of Mercury retrograde, also Mars is still retrograde. So just know that as we get deeper into November and December and January, those are going to be more clear times to move forward, make big decisions, do something with the possibilities that are coming from the eclipses, make your launches, make your big steps forward. And that is a time when the energy is going to crack. We've been in a cycle of very strong restriction since the end of last year, when Jupiter got into Capricorn and then started, connecting with Pluto and being near Saturn, and these outer planets, Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn being in the sign of restriction, which is Capricorn. This year has been very much about restriction. And I also spoke about this tendency of the retrograde years as we've had it this year. We've had 3 Mercury retrogrades, which is typical, but we have also had Venus retrograde and Mars retrograde. So as I was talking about last year, 2020 has been a year of kind of moving backwards and like uncertainty and inward introspective energies more than like blazing forward. And this month, October, and into kind of the earlier part of November is like the pinnacle of the energy of the whole year of 2020. So this is like our last kind of quivering before the egg hatches and the new things are born as Jupiter and Saturn move along from Capricorn. That energy of restriction will start to shift into the new possibilities, the new openness, and you may start feeling pieces of that as the second half of the year progress. And the closer you get to December, you might start to see it more. But this month is kind of a month that's just wrapped in the uncertainty and the trauma from the previous times and the emotion and rehashing and going back over everything so that you can crack on through to the other side. I'm likening the energy of this year, which is very fully encapsulated in the month of October in an extreme way, as the energy of transition. Transition is a word that we use, you know what the definition of transition is, but I'm meaning it as like a medical technical term for in a birthing phase. The birthing phase of transition occurs when the cervix is dilated and the baby can come out, and the baby is about to come out, or everything is set up for the baby to come out. Sometimes it takes a little while, but this energy of transition is that verge of all of the panic and the uncertainty and then the surrender right before the birth. Okay, so that's what is happening at this time. And, you know, women in this stage, birth helpers will know that a woman is in transition when she starts saying things like, this is never going to happen, the baby's never coming out, I can't do this is impossible. Those words, those feelings are wrapped up into the energy of transition, because from that comes the hopelessness and the helplessness and then the surrender and then the cracking forward into the birth. So October is this really powerful, intense pinnacle of all of this energy that's getting ready to crack open into a lot of new things, a lot less restriction, although of course we're going to be forever changed by the coronavirus and what has gone on. There are going to be the energies of opening up and solutions and systems coming from everything, and you will start to see that on your individual level and on the global level. But we got to get through October 1st. Okay, so all of that's going to happen. Now, all of the signs represent or have connections with body parts. And Libra rules the energy of the kidneys. Okay, so the sun moving through Libra, you being Libra, this energy that's being brought into the forefront right now for various reasons, has the energy of fear. Okay, kidneys are associated with the energy of the emotion of fear. Different organs have different energetic associations. I talked about in August and September how the liver rules anger and the gallbladder rules resentment, and with Mars in retrograde, which we still have this month, there is this energy of anger and resentment that is bubbling up and being worked with. And now we bring in this energy of the kidneys and the fear. So the adrenals, which are right here by the kidneys, they have the energy of fear, the fight, flight, or freeze. There's a channel of fear that moves from the adrenals down to the kidneys, down through the psoas muscle, which connects here at the vertebrae at the bottom of the kidneys, and then goes in through the hips and then down and connects with the hip femur bone, and then will go down the legs into the knees and out the feet. So there's this fear channel. And what happens a lot of times, instead of things just flowing, like the fear happening and then it flowing out of the body, it gets stuck in these muscles, the hip flexor muscles, the psoas, you spell this P-S-O-A-S, and the piriformis muscle, which is a hip rotator, P-I-R-I-F-O-R-M-I-S. So these get really tense, and sciatica is one of the reasons people get sciatica is because of an inflammation or a tightness in the piriformis muscle. And sciatica is another expression of fear energetically. Okay, so there's this cascade that should be free flowing, but it tends to get stuck in these hip flexors. Most people's hip flexors are super tight. When you're sitting, the psoas muscle is shortened and it's tightened. And most people don't do the counter stretch, which puts the psoas muscle, your leg back that way. So my recommendation for this month, if you don't have brittle bones or have had a hip replacement or for other reasons can't do this, and if so, you have to, talk with a medical practitioner because they might be able to work you through these releases safely. But for everybody else, looking up those muscles, the psoas and the piriformis, how you stretch them and release them can actually be a huge part of you not having as much fear and releasing the fear, not only this month, but also always. If you keep those muscles, flexible and moving, then that fear cascade can flow freely, and it makes it less likely that you'll be paralyzed and just stopped with fear, because the flow will continue. So you've got great chance to break through fears this month. I love EFT, the emotional freedom technique. You can look that up. There are tons of free resources online. Look up EFT and fear, EFT and anxiety. And because there's going to be a lot of it, with elections in the United States and other things going on in the world, and that the transit's bringing all of this uncertainty, and the water energies, and the eclipses coming, and the full moons and the blue moon. It's going to be very, very emotional. Some of the emotions can be great too. It's not that there aren't going to be any things that are positive. And in fact, we've got another sequence of beautiful earth trines. In September, we had 6 earth trines with planets moving through the sign of Earth that were kissing these outer planets that have been causing all the trouble, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn, and Uranus in Taurus. Now this month we have 4 more of these earth trines, and Venus is going to come and kiss all of these. So love and beauty and money and self-esteem, and Venus is your ruler. These areas have a chance to light up really bright and to bring positive outcomes from things that had been challenges prior and to things that are challenges in this time. So there's a lot to celebrate in that way. One other thing I wanted to note about that first full moon on October 1st is that that's going to be at like 9 degrees of Aries. And this is of particular importance for Libras because that opposes your sign. So all Libras will feel that opposition in more intensity. But those of you who are like 4 degrees through 14 degrees, or we'll say around September 27th through like October 4th-ish, or something like that. And the closer you are to 9 degrees, which is like the very end of the month, the very beginning of October, end of September, the more intense it will be. So I just wanted to point that out just to get more specific with that moon. So chances for alchemy are really high, and you're going to have to do a little work for it, but now you have the perspective of knowing we're about to bust through into these new energies as Jupiter and Saturn get into Aquarius and leave Capricorn for a really long time. Jupiter won't return there for 12 years. Saturn won't return to Capricorn for almost 30 years. So that leaves just kind of Pluto dogging the Capricorn energies, and we're moving on to newer, more innovative, exciting new possibilities. So if you'd like to have more information about what this month holds, I do a long, detailed write-up about the sweet dates and the salty dates and the aspects and what you can expect from them, and the general story of the month written, delivered into your inbox 1 month early when you sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. I don't spam you. I only send 3 emails a month because I do not like to get emails all the time from anything I sign up for. So I only send out 3, and they all have a ton of information and links to resources that I've created that are relevant for the astrology of each time. You also get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free when you sign up for my free email newsletter as a welcome to my email community. I have many other free resources, including written horoscopes that I put up 1 month early. All of the links that I'm giving you are also in the notes underneath the video. When you click on the More button with the arrow, it will reveal all of these links and sites. So my site, cozybysweetstarlight.com. You will want to see this site. It is so beautiful. And I do written horoscopes that are much more simple and shorter and compact, along with great reads for each sign each month. And I get those horoscopes up 1 month early, like I do get up my videos early. And there are other astrology kissed blogs like yoga through the signs and herbal teas through the signs and ways to maximize the sun moving through each sign. You can look at my free classes, including a class that was a paid class before that I'm now offering for free called Unleash Your Money Magnets, at my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. You can also see my paid courses there, including Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. It will blow your mind, the details that I go into in this course. It's very extensive. And whether you want to just do astrology because you love it, you want to help your friends and yourself, or if you want to do it professionally, I give you everything you need to do both And you can see that at lumlife.com. It's getting closer to the time when my new book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe, is going to be out. So you can pre-order that now. You can search for Annie Botticelli Planetology, and it's going to be through all major booksellers. It's on Amazon. You can go to your local bookstore to pre-order. You can, there are many, many different ways you can get that book. And so you can check that out. And I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.